morning. Good morning. We're so glad that you guys could jump on with us here at Called in the Bleachers. Hope you guys have had a great week. Hope it's been a fantastic week. The cool weather kind of came in, and there's still a little breeze to it, but, I wish it'd stay a little bit colder. But how's your week been, brother?
Going pretty good. Cooler weather has definitely been a plus. Really excited about that. Next week, I think it's supposed to get even a little cooler.
Oh, yeah.
Finally feeling like fall. Finally feeling like football weather.
I cannot wait till jackets.
It's been a pretty good week. We got a good week, a good slate of football this weekend. So I'm excited about that.
There's some good football games coming on this today and all that good stuff. There's going to be some great teams playing today, some great competition. But before we get into all that, we had some great teams that played last week. We kind of told y'all there was going to be an upset if Florida State didn't come out because this was a trap game, and old Pittsburgh put it to them.
Yes,
they handled it.
It really put Norvell in the hot seat. Because,
yes, sir.
I think they are looking at possibly removal of him.
There's a lot of talks.
I don't think they said he just had his 44th birthday. I think if it was. Said he hasn't beat an ACC team since he was 42.
Oh my gosh!
So
yeah, 2 years.
He didn't win a single ACC game last
year.
And now he's 0-3 against ACC this year. So
that's insane. Come out to beat Bama at the very first week, and then you turn around and you can't even hang with the ACC teams. And so the question is ACC that dominant and SEC just ain't that good? Or did Florida State say we're going to come out and we got to come out swinging because of what Bama did to us a couple of years ago about knocking us out of the playoffs? Yep. I think that's more of it. I think there was a chip on everybody's shoulder in that game.
I think they all need to find that chip.
Yeah.
And use it each week because, like I said, it's definitely been mind-boggling. I have picked Florida State a couple of times this year to win since the first game of the season.
Yeah.
And I have fallen short.
Listen, we pick with Justin all the time because Justin Mitchell's a big Florida State fan, and we pick with him a lot. And because this past Saturday, we have a group chat that we're all in, and I just text out saying, "Hey, I don't know if I can pick Florida State anymore because every single time I pick them, they end up losing."
Now, I think his response was, "I know the feeling." Or something.
Yeah, it's either "I'm sorry, I know the feeling," or something like that. Yep. But yeah, Justin, we feel for you. I'm not going to get any deeper in that one because I'm not a Florida State fan. Yep. But anyway, then you go into we had some good games. Ohio State at Illinois was a decent game. It was 34-16 in the final. Ohio State had that game handled from the beginning.
I thought Ohio State played one of their better games start to finish on that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
They definitely look more like a number one team. Up to this point, and like I said, I think this is the new culture of football. Is you're not going to have that one team that just dominates every week because of the transfer portal. You're not going to be as deep with talent as you normally used to have been because those guys can transfer out and be starters immediately.
And the perfect example is that's Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Look at Vanderbilt right now and how they're hanging. Back in the day, Vanderbilt, even a couple years ago, Vanderbilt couldn't hang with anybody.
That's right.
Especially in the SEC. They would scrape by with South Carolina or Mizzou, every once in a while Tennessee, but it was rare for them to beat some of the higher ranked ones. And now, I mean, look at last year. They knocked off Bama last year. Mm-hmm. This year they're knocking on the door. They might knock LSU off today. I mean, there's a lot of people thinking that LSU is going to lose today to Vanderbilt. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff, but all of it's because of that transfer portal because they had a good quarterback transfer in. They had good defensive players. They had offensive players, of course. But that transfer portal is making the difference right now for a lot of these lower teams that they're no longer lower teams. Yeah. They're becoming amped up. If you remember,
too, like your Alabama and even Georgia, back when they won the national championship right before the transfer portal and NIL thing changed. I mean, it wasn't anything for them to go into the third and fourth quarter and still have five-star players
sitting on the sideline
out and playing the game. And so now a lot of those guys are transferring out and becoming starters, and you're getting some of your lower-tier teams. Like you said, Vanderbilt has been competitive the last 2 years. And even this past week, they played Alabama, and the score was a little bit lopsided at the end,
but it wasn't.
Halftime, first half was a tied ball game. I mean, they came to play.
Well, it was all the way into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And Alabama didn't score the extra touchdowns until the last couple minutes, if I remember correctly, in the fourth quarter. So for them to try to say, well, we dominated, no, you didn't. I mean, it was really a very close game.
And I think Vanderbilt is definitely a lot better team. I don't think that if you play a tight game with them or even possibly get beat by them, I don't think that it's necessarily that your team is just horrible that year. I think that Vanderbilt is a lot better.
They are.
They are. I mean, they got a lot. Their quarterback has, I think he made some mistakes in the Alabama game. I think he went for some big plays where he probably could have checked down.
Yeah.
And gained some yardage and managed the clock a little better. But they got a good team. I think Vanderbilt is definitely a team that you can't just overlook on your schedule.
Well, I'll even say their gameplay is brilliant. Their coach knows what he's doing, because what they're doing is they get the ball, they sludge it down the field. They don't go for these huge giant plays all the time. They sludge it down the field and they wear you out.
Yeah.
If you look at their time of possession in games, it's usually about 3 or 4 minutes more than the other team.
That's right.
Easily. And it's just because they try to wear out your defense and wear them down, and then slowly, then surely score on you. And then when it gets closer to the fourth quarter, that's when they go for the explosive stuff and trying to do this. He's smart. He's extremely smart, because you wear out a defense, you can throw all over them.
Yeah.
So, and that's what he's been doing.
And I think, I know we're kind of jumping from the Ohio State game to the Vanderbilt-Alabama game.
Yeah.
On the Alabama side of the ball, every game that they've won this year, the game that they lost time of possession.
Yeah, that's exactly
and
right.
Every game that they've won, especially like in Alabama-Georgia game when they beat Georgia, they dominated the time of possession.
Yep.
And every game that they've won, which they've won every game since the Florida State game, they've won the time of possession.
Yeah.
And so you're not seeing those 60 and 70 point games, but you're seeing some full quarter games that turn out with a victory.
They're keeping it close, and honestly, that's a good strategy for them, because in the past you'd blow them out. I mean, I remember one year the players were on the sideline with Saban, telling him, "Hey man, let's see," because it was like 59. They were trying to go to
break
over 60. And it's like, man, that's crazy. And now you're having teams playing like with Vanderbilt that, man, it's 17-17.
That's right.
It's 24-24. So I think a lot of it is transfer portal. I think a lot of it is also because the coaching, and they're smart, because if you can control the line of scrimmage and you can control that time of possession, you got the game. But I mean, at the end of the day, whoever scores the most points wins.
Yep.
So I mean, that's just how it is.
I think going like for instance, the Georgia-Auburn game, watching that game, Auburn done a great job the first half, and they done a great job of running the clock. They scored first.
Yeah.
And Georgia had one possession the entire first quarter.
We got to be careful in this one. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, just talking about how you could take a high-powered offense, but a high-powered offense is no good if they don't have the ball.
That's exactly right.
And like I said, I watched that game, and the first quarter ended, and I think of myself, Georgia's got negative so many yards rushing. The end of the first quarter, 7-0 Auburn, and I'm thinking, like, they have completely kept Georgia's offense off the field.
They know what they're doing.
2 quick 3-and-outs.
Yep.
And they slowly went down the field and just chipped away at the clock, chipped away at and just kept picking up those third down conversions.
Yeah.
And it was just, I really thought Auburn was fixing to run away with that game.
They could have, and then you go to the most controversial play of that game, which I'll be honest with. There was 2 big giant controversial plays in that game, but one of them was the touchdown. Was it a touchdown or not? My wife's an Auburn fan, and I've heard a lot of Auburn fans, especially online, talking about it was a touchdown all day long. Their main point was it crossed the line, so it's automatic. But if you actually look at that footage, and I'm not an Auburn fan and I'm not a Georgia fan, so I'm extremely biased. There is no bias. I'm sorry. I'm down the middle. I'm neutral on this. But if you look at that video, he punches that ball out before they get to the line. Yeah. You can see the ball moving in his arm.
There's actually 2 punches on the ball.
Yeah.
The one that most everybody sees is the second punch.
Yeah.
Because the one that gets credited for punching the ball out is not the first one that actually does it.
Right.
And so the one that you see in the clip is the second punch at the goal line, and they're saying that the ball crossed the plane.
Yeah.
But C.J. Allen actually gets a fist in there and punches it, and then the other, I can't remember who it was, came in behind him and punches again, which is where you see the ball completely come dislodged. Now, this is where I stand, and of course, I'm a Georgia fan, but again, I like to try to be neutral on the calling because, like I said, I'll be the first one to tell you that play comes down to whatever the referee calls
does.
at the time. If the referees would have called that a touchdown, I'd never see that call getting overturned.
Yeah.
It stays a touchdown. But the fact of the matter is a Georgia player ended up in the opposite end zone with the ball.
Yeah.
And the referees could not see what was going on in that fraction of a second to determine the call, and all they can go off is somehow the Georgia defender ended up with the ball. Now here's the second part of that even Kirby Smart didn't even recognize to argue is that Georgia player never goes down.
Right.
He takes the ball
all the way down.
He turns around on the legs of a defender, never touches the ground.
That's right.
And runs it to the end zone without a whistle.
And that should have been a touchdown.
The play was never dead, and that should have been a touchdown. So, regardless of the fact, is Auburn robbed 6 points from a touchdown?
Or is Georgia?
Or is Georgia robbed 6 points from a touchdown? And then, of course, your Auburn fans are going to say, well, Georgia ended up with the ball, so Auburn got robbed. Well, they ended up gaining the ball on the half-yard line.
Yeah.
And so they had to march 99.5 yards to get any points. And so, like I said, I think it all comes down to whatever the referees called at that time, that there's not enough evidence to overturn the call.
Oh, yeah.
Either way. And so I think that, it's a tough break for, if the call would have went the other way, every Georgia fan out there would have been like, no, the ball was dislodged before it crossed the plane.
Yeah.
The fact that it stood and was upheld, now the argument is that it broke the plane before the ball was dislodged. It goes back to what a lot of the commentators were saying. Don't leave it in the hands of the referees.
Yeah.
Hold on to the ball.
Yep.
Hold on to the ball.
Keep it going.
At the end of the day, a call that close is a 50-50
It
call.
is.
And it's going to go either way. Now, the other controversial call
Oh, dear Lord.
is, if you guys go to church tomorrow morning, I want you to go in there and I want you to try to clap like this right here. Because that's the new style of clapping.
That's the Kirby Smart clap.
I said it from the moment it happened. I said, his lips do look like they're reading. They're clapping, but it's almost like he was trying to call a timeout to say that they were clapping. But no, I don't care how you look at it. That's not clapping.
Oh, dear Lord.
That was
Kirby.
a T in the hand all day long.
And I will say there's a lot of fans that are upset and like they're making fun of Kirby about something else that happened in that game or at the end of that game because he got up on the table and he was celebrating with the crowd and everybody's like, well, that's a 3-3 team. Why are you celebrating over that? What y'all don't understand is that's a huge rivalry game.
One of the second oldest rivalry.
Oh my gosh.
FBS.
And I don't care who you are. Anytime that you come into that game, it don't matter if Georgia's ranked number 1 and Auburn's dead last. Auburn can slip up and beat them. And it's the same the other way too. If Auburn's number 1 and Georgia's not even ranked, Georgia's going to probably beat them. And it's just because it's that good of a rivalry.
Right. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Kirby Smart should have gotten on the table or he shouldn't have. One of the things that I've seen is, Nick Saban would have never gotten on the table like this after beating a 3-3 team. But that's the thing is that's not Nick Saban.
Exactly.
And, I don't know if I would have gotten on the table.
Yeah.
I may have. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is what does it matter? It's like, that goes to show you the passion in a game. And I love it. I'm not going to lie, not just because I'm a Georgia fan. I don't care if that's, Ole Miss and Auburn playing.
Somebody said it had something to do with his dad too.
Yeah, that's part of it is when they asked him about the day before that they named a field, or that day they actually named a field after his dad.
Oh, gotcha.
And so him and his son went to that field.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's an awesome thing that happened with it because even in the midst of all these fans talking trash about him and everything else about getting on the table, man, that's an emotional moment. That was about your dad. That's about the Georgia fan base. That's about your team. Man, that makes sense. I don't care. Yeah. I mean, I ain't even going to talk about it. Never mind.
Don't know why you got on the table, but hey, I'm glad to see the passion.
Hey, and well, that's what you want to see from
Absolutely.
your coach. So,
Absolutely.
Getting off of that, we can go into some of these other games. You had, of course, you had Alabama-Mizzou last week. And Mizzou stayed up with Bama for a while. It was 27-24 in the final. Mizzou almost handled it. just to be honest with you. And they were marching down the field in the fourth quarter. There was less than, I think, a minute left. And Bama was having a hard time stopping the pass. And Mizzou was marching down the field. Next thing you know, there was a pick, and that's what ended the game. It was. I'm gonna be honest with you. If that pick didn't happen, Mizzou would have won.
Yeah,
They would have beat Bama in a heartbeat. So
Yep.
you got that. You go down to Texas Tech and Kansas, which was not a game. It was 42-17. Arkansas and Tennessee, which turned out to be a better game than a lot of people thought it was. Well, Bobby Petrino showed up,
Yep.
showed out. And I know they ended up losing, but they only lost by 3-1 to a Tennessee team.
to that one of the high scoring offense in the FBS.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. It's just you're losing to a team and you held them to 34 when most of the time they're scoring in the 40s.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal too. But nobody wants to talk about that.
That's right.
You got Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech. That was an easy kind of game for Georgia Tech.
Tech's looking good this year.
They are
I think Georgia, just like playing Auburn, it's one of those rivalry games.
a big one.
Georgia's definitely better be ready to play Georgia
Yeah.
Tech, because I'm telling you, that quarterback has them. They have a chip on their shoulder from
Yes,
last
sir.
year with 7 overtimes,
Yes, sir.
and it's going to be a game.
It is. I think it's going to be a great
They're
game.
going to be
too.
looking to take some bushes away from
They're going to try to get some
Sanford
hedges.
Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then you go into you got the LSU South Carolina game, which there was a little bit of controversial stuff in that game, but it wasn't too much. It wasn't no Georgia Auburn game, but there was a lot of craziness that happened in that game because there was some interceptions and fumbles that happened. There was some sneaky late hits on a quarterback, and refs didn't call it, but I don't think a lot of people are going to say anything about it. But I will say this. As an LSU fan, I was proud of Nussmeier because he pushed through. That joker was limping going on the field, and he kept telling him, "I'm playing."
First quarter,
Yes, sir.
he was hurt, but
And he ended up playing. He ended up playing the entire game, and he would not let anybody else get in that position. He wanted to keep doing it, and the Joker's throws were perfect,
Yeah.
man. He had 2 or 3 throws that were dead on the receiver in his hands, and he dropped it. So you can't really blame that
Yeah.
on Nuss, but
It looks bad on the stats, but like I said, a quarterback can't catch the ball too.
no, that's
You can
exactly
only put
right.
it there, and so I think that obviously that needs to be considered, in the draft numbers.
Oh yeah,
Because like I said, all you can do is put the ball where it's supposed to be.
That's right.
You can't catch it for them, and so
nope. And you can't put Stickum in their hands either. so.
exactly.
But no, you had a bunch of good games last week. Ole Miss and Washington State turned out to be 24-21, which was crazy because everybody thought Ole Miss was going to blow them out. But yet
And
again,
they got off to a slow start.
it's a trap game.
Almost too slow.
But you had a good bit of trap games last week. Florida and Texas A&M. That game was. It was decent in the first half, but it blew up in that second half. I mean, so. And then everybody else pretty much that you expect to win won out except Michigan, which was hilarious to me. USC ended up beating them 31-13, which I kind of seen that coming, but anyway. But moving on, we got some good games that's going on this week. That
The Indiana-Oregon game was a good one.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think
Yeah,
about that.
top 10
yeah,
matchup.
didn't even think about that game.
Yeah, and I tell you, Indiana is looking good.
Did we not say last week if they don't come out fast,
Yes.
Oregon's going to lose this game? And because it was a trap game, and all of a sudden Indiana comes out and
Yeah.
shows up. And I will say this: everybody knows Penn State fired their coach. Do we think it's a good idea? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't, but it is what it is. But there's a lot of people that were saying the coach from Indiana was going to go to Penn State.
That's what I say.
And then all of a sudden, I think it was Thursday, Indiana goes ahead and ups his contract. I think it's 8-year contract that he has with them now. And they did that real quick so Penn State couldn't swoop in and get him.
That's right.
And then there's a lot of coaching carousel going on, of course, and there's a lot of rumors that you're going to have your Brian Kelly or your Marcus Freeman. Even Lane Kiffin got thrown around a little bit, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Sounds like there's going to be an opening in Florida this week.
I've heard that
Yeah.
Sunday morning, no matter
And Lane Kiffin
rain
said
or
his wife
shine.
doesn't like the cold.
Yeah,
So Florida will be a great fit.
yeah, especially if he does decide to leave Ole Miss, he could go to Florida. Which back when he left FAU to Ole Miss, he wanted to go to Florida. He had put a lot of interest in that Florida program, so there was a lot there. And then they hired in Sunbelt Billy, and now all that's turned. So Florida might be going for a
Yeah.
bid for Lane Kiffin. And,
I'll say this about Billy Napier. And this is coming from some of the fans that I've talked to. They really believe that Billy Napier isn't the coach that's going to get them to where they need to be, but they do give him credit for beginning the rebuild. Like they give him credit for getting the atmosphere back to where it needs to be, to getting the structure of the team back. Of course, they're not, like I said, they're falling flat on their face. They're not able to keep any kind of momentum. They go in and upset Texas,
yeah,
and then turn right around and
lose
can't
like they
win the
did.
next game again. So
Texas A&M, yeah.
they don't believe that Billy Napier. They believe it's a good fire if they do get rid of Billy Napier, but they are giving Billy Napier credit for having rebuilt the program.
And that makes sense. And then also turn around, and Napier was a good guy that could pull from Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi
Yes.
for the transfer portal, and also for recruiting period, because he's Louisiana native, so he knows that entire area. But I'll be honest with you, I know some Florida fans that hated him coming in there in the first place.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, I was so glad he went there, because he was supposed to come to LSU. There was a lot of talks that he was going to be at LSU.
I kind of wish they'd keep him there.
I think Florida needs to keep him. Yeah, I think that's a great bet. So,
as a Georgia fan, I love a Billy Napier head coach.
Yes, sir.
Football.
Because he's perfect in there, especially against LSU. Anyway, moving on. We got some crazy games this week today. You got to look at the number one that is everybody's watching for, looking for, is can Ole Miss stay undefeated in there with Georgia? And I'm going to be honest with you, this is going to be a tough game on both sides of this ball, because you got Ole Miss coming off this win over last week. That was a rough win for them. And then same with Georgia, that was a rough win for them. So you got.
Well, they say the game starts at 3:30, so I imagine Georgia will start playing around 5.
I was going to say that.
I'm telling you, and this is coming from a disgruntled Georgia fan, that they should have lost to Auburn.
Yeah.
I tip my hat that they've been able to grind out. But Georgia is one field goal away and one call away from being, 0-3,
in
SEC schedule.
That's right.
And, other than Kentucky, I say 1 and 2 then.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
They beat Kentucky pretty good, but
no, it'd be 1 and 3, because you got Bama, then you had Tennessee, and then
that's right.
Auburn.
Yeah, so it'd be 1 and 3. Yep. And so the thing with Georgia, like I said, and it's a broken record. It's been playing.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with some guys earlier, as a matter of fact, yesterday, and we had this talk, and it was like, you think back on it, and Georgia was always a contender for some of your higher bowl games, but they were never national contender.
Right.
And it was with Mike Bobo as the offensive coordinator. Then we get Todd Monken for a couple of years, win 2 national championships. Yeah. And then we go back to Mike Bobo, and it's like we're replaying the last
years ago
20 years of football. And don't get me wrong, Mike Bobo's got he calls some good games.
Yeah.
But to be a year long, especially now with the schedule that is played with you got to make it through your regular season, then you got to make it through playoff contention. I don't think Mike Bobo has the ability to call with some of these defenses. He has trouble adjusting to defense, and and a lot of, like last week, everybody was calling for Glenn Schumann's job, but this is one thing. Georgia's defense come out flat-footed. They were but every game that Georgia's defense has been,
they're the ones that have kept y'all in the game.
They're the only ones that have been able to adjust.
Yeah.
The offense doesn't adjust.
Right.
The defense just keeps playing until the offense figures out a way to make it work.
And that's where, as an LSU fan, I see Georgia's frustration, because we're in the same boat. Our defenses are great. Our defenses can be elite, all that kind of stuff. But it's our offenses that have got to kick off. And one thing I will say, Mike Bobo has the talent on that side of the ball. He has a good quarterback. He's got good running backs. He's got great wide receivers. He's got a tight end that I don't think y'all use enough, to be honest with you.
Oh, absolutely. We last weekend against Auburn was the most. Matter of fact, I think it was Lawson Lucky had multiple catches in that game, and I don't know of a target he's had all year.
That's what
I
I was
mean,
about
we
to
went
say.
from being Brock Bowers' team to 90% of our passes, the leading leading receiver on the team every game was our tight end.
Yep.
We're just using them for blocking now,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't know if Mike Bobo is anti tight end receiver or what, but it's like, man, you've got Oscar Dale, you've got Lawson Lucky, and you've got another big tight end. I can't even think of his name off the top of my head right now. But these guys, Oscar Delp especially, he practiced with
Bobo. Or not Bobo. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Brock Bowers.
Bowers.
And so it's like, use this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, don't
he
get me wrong,
knows.
use him for blocking. And that was something that made Brock Bowers stand out amongst the rest is he could do it all. He could play. I mean, you could give it to him in the backfield, but he was a blocker.
He was.
And listen, I know everybody doesn't have that. I mean, they just don't have it. They don't. Everybody just isn't the tight end that can catch, block, run, whatever. But they can do more than block.
That's exactly right.
Delp had a tough break when they threw him a pass against Alabama defense, and he got. It was just a great play, great defensive play, but he got stuck. He made the catch and got stuck, and lost the ball.
Yeah.
But keep throwing it to him. Let him recover.
I was about to say, you can't just give up. Just like I was watching the Bengals versus the Steelers the other night, and what's his name? Chase, Jamar Chase. They were throwing him the ball, and he had the most receptions in that game. I think he had like a 17 or 18 receptions in that game, and which was a record for the Bengals for one. But I think it's the most receptions this year in the NFL by one person in one game. But anyway, in the fourth quarter, he dropped the ball. Like, it got right in his hands, and he twisted, and he dropped the ball. And I can't remember the quarterback's name right now. It's not Burrow. It's Joe something, Flacco. He threw the ball, and, like, his expression on his face was like, oh, my gosh, you dropped that. Everybody drops the ball once in a while.
Absolutely.
Everybody, even the number one receiver in the nation, he drops the ball every once in a while. You can't give up on that player just because of that. And that's why your tight ends are a huge addition to your team because, man, you don't know if they're blocking, if they're running out there in the flat, or if they're actually going to catch it. So that is a big deal. And that's why any team that uses their tight ends, man, they're a step above because most teams don't use their tight ends anymore.
And the thing is if you got a team like, I know LSU uses theirs a good bit.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, we do.
And Alabama.
Yes, they do.
It's the third down conversions. You don't just hit a tight end and knock him over.
No.
Like he's
a
bound.
big boy.
He's bound to get 2 to 3 yards after
Easily,
the catch.
yeah.
After contact.
Oh, yeah.
And so, when you need that grit for the extra couple yards, and you got a 6'5", 6'7" tight end, use him, and it's frustrating.
There ain't a lot of people that want to go after him to hit him. I can tell you that now.
They're gonna go low.
Yeah,
it's
every
just
single
like,
time.
Matter of fact, it was Oscar Dale was going. I forgot a couple weeks ago who we were playing, but he expected the guy to go low on his legs, and the guy stayed up, and he ended up kicking him in the chest, trying to jump the tackle.
That's hilarious.
But you've got so many tackles. I mean, you got so many tackles. You go all the way back to Darnell Washington. You got Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
You got some of your big tight ends, and or even Derrick Henry back when he played. Don't nobody want to tackle them up high.
No, they don't.
They're gonna go for the feet,
They
and
want
that's
them
why
legs.
you got these jump plays where they're jumping defenders and keep going and get that extra yardage, and so.
And you realize how athletic these tight ends are and these running backs are because they can jump over people like that. That's crazy.
But this is my prediction for the Georgia Ole Miss: is if Ole Miss comes out like they played last week, they get beat handily.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the same Ole Miss.
So
I think Ole Miss comes in there. And
I think they overlooked this last team, and that's why.
And I can promise you, Lane Kiffin.
Oh, he's
a
going to
game
scheme.
plan. He's got a way of trying to get started early. He's got a way of trying to put Georgia on their heels. And I'll say the same thing. If Georgia comes out and play like they've played the last couple of weeks, wait until the second half to see if they want to make adjustments or not.
Ole Miss will be too far ahead
Ole
by
Miss
then.
is they're going to get too far ahead. And it happened last year. And so I hope it's a 4-quarter game for both teams.
Yeah.
And, of course, I want Georgia to win, but I'll be the first one to tell you that Ole Miss has a very good chance of taking this game.
Yeah, and I will say they got Georgia favored right now by like 7.5 points, I think. I don't see that, to be honest with you. If I would take the under, I'm not saying Georgia's going to win because Ole Miss looks. I'll be honest with you. If Ole Miss comes out like they did against us when they played LSU, Ole Miss is going to beat Georgia. But if Georgia comes out there and plays that first half like they're supposed to, if they come out in the first quarter and play like they're supposed to, Georgia can handle this game. Because y'all have a great defense, but the thing is are they going to come out and stop it?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say Georgia's not going to win. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but I don't believe it's going to be 7.5 points.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I think it's going to be.
I think
If it's if they stay together, it's going to be a 3-point game. Is what I really think. But I don't know. It could go either way right now. It depends on which team shows up.
I'm giving 10 points to the winner.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey.
And I believe if it's Ole Miss,
Yeah.
they win by 10. I believe if it's Georgia, they win by 10.
I could agree with that.
But
I could agree with that.
again, I can't really say. I see it could easily. To me, it's 50-50. Like I'm not leaning one way or the other.
It's so hard because which team shows up.
Yep.
Because you've seen high moments of Georgia, you've seen high moments of Ole Miss, but you've also seen their low moments in games they shouldn't have won, games that they shouldn't. That we should be talking about how bad they were in this game or that. It really depends. If they both show up, it's going to be a close game. It's going to be 3 teams. It's 3
I think
points.
Georgia's key is third down conversions.
Yeah.
And running because Auburn done a great job of shutting down the run for Georgia, but I think that if Georgia can run the ball and manage the clock, I think you take the game plan for Ole Miss out of the book.
Yeah, I can see that.
But like I said, can you do that?
Well, okay, here's a question for you. What do you predict is the final score?
Final score. Again, I gave 10 to the winning team. So
Yeah.
I feel I'm 50-50 at the middle because I don't know what team's going to show up for either one.
Well, don't tell me what team.
Yeah.
Just tell me the
But
score.
final score, I'm going to go 37-27.
I'm going to say if it's the 10, I'm going to say 31-21. I'll say something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be middle. I don't think it's going to be a low scoring game, but I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game either. So
31-21 or 37-27.
yeah, that's we'll go ahead and throw that out as
Y'all
our
put that in
predictions.
your bank.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm telling you now, ESPN gonna be calling us soon because every time we turn around, we're picking. We know what we're talking about. But we'll move on to the next game, Tennessee, Alabama. We're gonna kind of hit some of the bigger games this week, just because I know time constraint and all that good stuff. But Tennessee, Alabama game, I think it's gonna be a good game. I think Tennessee does try to show up because they're trying their best to stay in the contention for the championship.
And think about it. They're one field goal away from being undefeated.
Yes, sir, they
This
are.
being an undefeated matchup.
They and honestly, Tennessee has not looked bad this year.
I want to remind everybody, too, the loss on their schedule is to Georgia, where they had Georgia beat with a field goal.
That's right.
Missed the field goal. Alabama only beat Georgia by a field goal. It's not like Alabama's been super dominant.
Not at all.
And Tennessee hasn't. Like,
Yeah.
I personally, again, I'm giving the edge to Alabama because it's a home game, but I really believe Tennessee has what it takes to go
I
in
do
there
too.
and beat Alabama for a second year straight.
And I'll be honest with you, this is going to be a very tough game to me to pick wise because both teams are as good as they are. I mean, you got one of these that's a high-powered offense, and then you turn around and look at the other one, and it's a high-powered offense. Both quarterbacks are Heisman contenders to me. I don't
Absolutely.
care what anybody says.
Absolutely.
You got two defenses that have been showing up in both games. They are in all games. They've been showing up, trying their best. Outside of the Georgia game, I don't think Tennessee's had a very close game at all with any of these teams.
Arkansas, I think, was a 3-point game.
Oh, it was a 3-point.
Yeah.
So you got one there. And I will tell you, I mean, even looking at Arkansas, that's a tough game period. Arkansas is always one of those ground and pound games. So that I could see that. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I personally think Tennessee's going to win this game because I know they don't want to lose that championship contendership. And I know Bama don't either, but I think Tennessee's walking in here with a chip.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I picked Tennessee.
I think I did too.
Like I said, I'm giving the edge to Alabama, but
My gut's
I
telling me.
just got that gut feeling.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of things that come into play too is that I thought about him taking my pick this week was, Jam Miller suffered a severe
Oh
concussion
yeah.
last week. He's questionable for this game,
Yeah.
and so and Alabama's got some good running backs behind Jam Miller, but Jam Miller's the leader of that
Oh yeah.
room, and if they can't produce a running game, then they have to rely on the passing game alone. And
You're yeah.
you
You're in
can't.
trouble then.
Yeah, like I said, Tennessee's got some good receivers. They got a great quarterback that has come in and done a great job with the program. Ty Simpson, ever since the FSU game, has been Heisman candidate
yeah.
week by week by week.
He's growing.
He's doing great. He's a team leader. Super accurate. Man, that guy's accurate with
Oh
his
yeah.
throws.
Dead on it.
I'm talking about against Mizzou last week. We talk about the interception at the end of the game that cost Mizzou, but the thing you can lean into and tip Alabama for was that was the fourth down call. It's like 17, 18 yards down the field to the tight end. And I'm talking about you couldn't carry the ball out there and put it in a more perfect spot. And so Ty Simpson is playing elite right now. And again, it's going to be a great quarterback matchup. But again, I think a lot of the question relies on is Jam Miller going to be able to show up? Is he going to be able to play? Because like I said, it was a bad hit he took last week, and I hope he does. I don't want to see any player, not get to play in some of the biggest games due to
Injuries
a hit,
and all that kind of
injury
stuff.
and things like that. But it is part of the game, and so that's my curiosity is: does Jam Miller show up? Is he able to play? If he's not able to play, can the running backs behind him step up and fill that void? Because they got some good young running backs behind Jam Miller, so I think it'd be a good thing to watch for.
Well, and I'll be honest with you. You said it a second ago. I hate seeing any players hurt and they're not being able to play because you want the team to be at their best when you play them and all that kind of stuff. Because you never want, well, that team should have beat y'all if this guy. I hate those conversations.
Me too.
But at the same time, I understand them. But I'll be honest with you. One man don't change a team. But then again it does because. According to the college football playoffs, it does. Because when Florida State lost a quarterback, why we keep going back to that? Anyway, let's move on. Bama is favored 7.5 points. Golly, 7.5 points on this game too. So that's crazy. So there could be two big upsets right there if Ole Miss wins and if Bama goes down to Tennessee. I mean, it could be. One of the next games, and it's 3 back-to-back sluggers. You got LSU and Vanderbilt.
Yep.
This is a horrible game for us, for LSU, for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a noon game, which we do okay during the day, but our night games are where we are. The other thing about us is Whit Weeks is very questionable for this game, and he is our star. I mean, he is our number one on our defense right now. Oh, we still got Perkins. We still got the other 2 Week brothers, all that kind of stuff. There's another one, I can't remember his name, starts with a P, but Parsons, I think. But we got all these guys that are amazing on defense, but Whit Weeks is our number one guy. Like, he's the one that controls our defense. So without him being out there, it's going to be a hard game for us. But we did it a couple weeks back against Ole Miss. Whit Weeks couldn't play in it because he got taken out for a targeting call, which we're not going to talk about right now. So, but there's a lot, and I will even say this is the first time in over 70 games in the SEC that Vanderbilt has been picked to beat the number 1 through 10 team, a top 10 team.
And they're a 1.5 point favorite on Vegas.
I think it is 1.5 points. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy that this is the first time that Vanderbilt's been picked and predicted to win. But and I'm gonna be honest with you, if LSU goes in there and plays flat-footed and doesn't come out there and stop the run, stop the pass from Vanderbilt, we're going to lose, period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. I will say this. I said it a second ago. Nussmeier has grown on me now because, man, he was throwing dimes. I mean, dimes at our receivers the other day. The touchdown he threw, put it up there where only that guy could get it, our tight end. He put it up there where only he could get it. And our tight end's like 6'11" or something. So that's a big deal. But I'm talking about on one leg throwing that ball perfect. So it was kind of crazy. But if our defense comes out there and plays like they do, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
I really do think LSU's going to end up pulling this game out. But our offense has to show up. That's the biggest thing.
And I think too, a lot of times we don't want to lose to the Vanderbilts.
Oh God, no.
Because the stigma is
Oh,
like
yeah.
Vanderbilt.
That's the
Vanderbilt.
worst. That's the worst.
But again,
Not this year.
you suffer a loss to Vanderbilt this year. You lost to a good team.
It's not-
I mean,
yeah, it's
Vanderbilt.
not
I don't
bad.
think it's a fluke. They have, like you said, when they played Alabama, they come unglued in the second half. I feel like they were trying to go too big, and ended up costing themselves some 3 and outs.
Yeah.
And but Vanderbilt is a good team, and
Oh,
so if you suffer a loss to Vanderbilt, you lost to a good team. The key is stay in the game. If you don't win it, keep it close, and again, win or lose, you played a good team.
Yeah.
And so if you beat them, you beat a good.
Yes, sir.
Leave away there with your head held high. That it wasn't just Vanderbilt; it was a good Vanderbilt team.
Yeah.
If you, suffered defeat by them, hey, you lost to a good Vanderbilt
Yeah.
team. And
This
so-
ain't like Vandy ain't that toothless person at Waffle House no
Waffle
more.
House,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? If they come in there and you get in a fight with him and you lose to them, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Nah, they're not like that now. They're more like the guy that's at I ain't gonna say Longhorns. I'm gonna say something like Ruby Tuesdays. You know what I'm saying? They're like that guy. So you got to be cautious with it. But I think their quarterback is going to do good. Pavia, he knows how to get that ball down the field and running and rushing and everything else. So I think it's going to be a great game altogether. I still give the edge to LSU.
Yeah.
I think, and I am LSU biased. But I have picked against LSU this year already, and thank God I was wrong. But I really don't see LSU losing this game. I think Vanderbilt's awesome. I think they're a great team. I just think LSU's going to have the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So then we go down to one of the next ones, and this is to me this is a playoff game already, because if whoever loses is completely out. And it's the Notre Dame USC game. If Notre Dame loses this game, they're completely out of the playoff picture. If USC loses this game, they're completely out of the playoff picture. I just don't see either one of them being able to make it. Right now, I think LSU, good Lord, I think the Irish have a 8.5 or 9.5 point spread on them that they're going to win this game. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think overall, I do think Notre Dame is actually, you're going to laugh at me, I think they're going to lose. I think USC is going to come in and win it.
USC could very well do it. I will say that much.
It's just hard. Lincoln Riley's a good coach. I know a lot of people have qualms about him, but I really do think he's a good coach. Marcus Freeman's a great coach, but I'll be honest with you. I think all this talk right now about the coaching carousel, about Penn State, about what could happen at Florida, about what could happen here and there, Marcus Freeman is one of the number one guys on the list right now because he's proven himself. He's young and he's proven himself. I think it's in his head right now. I don't think Notre Dame's going to come out and win this game. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I'll accept it and I'll apologize and all that good stuff. But I really don't. I just don't see Notre Dame winning this game.
Yep.
So,
And there's a part of me that is okay.
Yeah.
If
I'm fine if
doesn't
Notre Dame
win.
wins.
And I like Marcus Freeman.
Yeah, I do too.
I've just, I don't know. There's something about Notre Dame that I don't mind
Just
seeing
gets underneath your skin a little bit.
I don't mind seeing them fall out.
I think it's because they're not in a conference. That's what bugs me the most about them. You got another top 10 match or a top 25 matchup in Utah and BYU. They got Utah favored by 3.5. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's gonna be a crazy game. Period. I don't look at either one of them as being elite right now, so I don't think this game's gonna really matter in the college playoffs. Just to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So all right. So I'm gonna segue a little bit off of the predictions and all that good stuff to another set of predictions. Who do you see being the top 4 right now?
Top 4 right now, before today's games are played,
Yeah.
I would say Ohio State gets to stay number 1. Nobody's dethroned them, so they stay number 1. I personally would put Miami at 2.
Okay.
I'm going to go with probably, I think Indiana's earned their place up there.
That is a good
And I
one.
know that they're, They beat,
No, I agree.
but they beat
They handled the Oregon, yeah.
and Oregon beat the number 2 team the week prior, and
Yep.
Indiana has. You know, I'm gonna say, hey, they get to be there until they not.
Yep.
Because you
They've
got
earned it.
You got your Alabamas, you got your Georgias, but hey, they're not playing elite football.
Nope.
They've lost. Alabama lost to Florida State, and guess what? Georgia lost to Alabama.
Yes,
so
sir.
They're going to suffer from their losses, and so I'm going to put Indiana up there. And I'm going to say right now, until they're knocked down, and I feel like they're going to get knocked down, but they haven't yet. It's Texas A&M.
That's what I was about to say. A&M is over everybody because A&M still undefeated, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. But Ole Miss is undefeated too right now.
Yep.
So before today's games, Ole Miss and A&M.
I would probably put Ole Miss at 5.
Yeah.
Them or A&M, I think, could go one way or the other. So.
But Ole Miss still hasn't played. I mean, they haven't played Alabama. They haven't played A&M. They're about to play Georgia. So there's still a lot of football left. But
they beat Georgia today. They'll get my 4 spot.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I definitely see Miami. Ohio State, I wouldn't rank them at number 1. I think they're going to be ranked number 1, but I wouldn't rank them there just because they don't play anybody. I do rank Miami up a little bit higher just because they have proven themselves against ranked teams. So I'd see Miami being as number 1. Ohio State would sneak in at number 2. Do Ohio State and Indiana ever play? I can't remember if they play each other.
Can't remember.
I can find out. But I know, let's see, that's Illinois. Oh, they're about to play Wisconsin today. They play Penn State, Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers, and Michigan. So, no, they don't. Ohio State don't play them anytime soon. I definitely do see Ohio State being number 2, number 3, something like that. I would give Indiana the push right now. I want to see a little bit more out of them just because I ain't trying to be ugly. You've seen Penn State wasn't that great. You've seen Oregon got handled by Indiana a little bit, but Penn State wasn't that great. And
Yeah.
Oregon beat Penn State, yeah, but was Oregon just not that good? Was Penn State really not that good? So is Indiana really that tier?
Yeah.
So it makes me question. But right now, because they've earned it, they stay there. They stay at number 2 or number 3. I can agree with that. The SEC team, though, that I see right now, that just in the top 4, I see. It's hard because A&M and Ole Miss. That's hard.
Yep.
I'm not an A&M fan at all, but you got to give them their props because they've been doing great. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna give the edge to A&M for right now until, of course, this afternoon we'll find out, or tonight we'll find out.
That's me. Like I say, that's why we do. That's why the rankings are weekly.
Yeah,
Is because Saturdays change things.
everything
And
changes.
so that's what I say is I know Ole Miss has a big challenge to over here. If they win it, I think they take that spot from A&M because A&M doesn't have that test today.
Yeah,
And so in my top 4, I would say Ole Miss is just on the outside of it after their tight game with Washington last week.
yeah.
Or was it Washington? Who did they play that?
Washington State, I think.
Yeah, Washington State. And so I'm gonna give that 4 spot to A&M. But if Ole Miss takes Georgia down this afternoon, then I would say that they take that 4 spot. And Ole
So
Miss drops to 5.
I just because I was curious, I glanced at Indiana's schedule, what they got left. You're gonna laugh at me. There's 2 games that I would circle on their schedule right now, and you're gonna laugh at me so hard. UCLA is one of them that I would circle.
Absolutely.
Just because I know they started off 0-4. They fired their coach. They got a new guy in, and they have been undefeated since, if I remember correctly. UCLA is on a different level right now, playing wise, than they were at the beginning of the season. So I would definitely be watching out for that game because that's a trap game no matter what. The other game, and you're going to laugh at me. There's 2 that's kind of Penn State is left on their schedule. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Penn State, they just lost their coach and all this other stuff." That's when teams get dangerous to me because
That's what happened to UCLA.
Exactly. You knew their identity here. So when you played them, you're playing this team that's here. But now that identity is not there because that coach is gone. So there's a new identity. There's a new mindset. Man, they could come out swinging on this. And Penn State could prove something in this game.
Yeah.
UCLA could prove something in this game. So there's a lot to be left on that field. They got a couple of more games. And I know everybody's going to be like, man, that's too. I'm telling you, that's the games you got to watch for
right.
because you just don't know. So I'm curious to see all that and see what the top four in the playoff. I'm curious to see what the playoff looks like, but I'm really curious to see how many SEC teams are going to make in the playoffs this year too,
Yep.
because it's looking SEC heavy right
You
now.
still got Oklahoma. Absolutely sold the bed this past week.
Texas,
I'm not gonna lie. I say drop Oklahoma because
I do too.
that's the game. If you're gonna lose, if you're gonna win any game in your schedule,
You got to beat
win
Texas.
that game.
You got to,
You come in as
especially
a
after
number
seeing what
s-
Florida
yeah.
just did.
You come
Yeah,
in there as a number 6 ranked team in the nation and lose to Texas like that. And Texas,
they
you
were
know,
number 6.
That's Ohio State's
Gosh.
big win.
Yeah,
Is Texas.
if you would have beat them, man,
Florida
think about
beat
what you would have done.
Texas.
Yeah,
Better than Ohio State did, and Florida ain't nowhere near the number 1 team in
No.
the nation. And Oklahoma, and like I said, rivalry games, I'll be the first to tell you, are always different,
Oh,
no
yeah.
matter what your ranks are. So I'm not saying that it should have been an easy game, but what I'm getting at is you've got to go into that game with the idea, if I don't win a game this year, this is the one we have
number
to win.
1. Yeah,
And so, I say, 15, 16 is Oklahoma State, is Oklahoma now.
yeah, they're ranked at 14 right now, if I
And
remember
so
correctly.
does Texas make it back in the top 25? In my opinion, no.
They shouldn't. They are, but they shouldn't.
Yeah.
I think they're 21 or
Which is
22,
great.
something like that.
Which is great because every team that plays Texas on their schedule
Helps boost us.
has a ranked matchup as long as they stay in the rankings. So
We'll see. We still like LSU. Still got Oklahoma. We still got Texas A&M. So we got a lot of ranked teams. I think we got 4 or 5 ranked teams left on our schedule,
Yep.
counting today with Vanderbilt. I think we're the most in the SEC right now.
Yep.
I think at the beginning of the year, I think it was either Florida or it was Bama, if I remember correctly. No, I think it was Florida. I think it was Florida.
yeah,
that
Florida
had the most.
had their number one rank, had the number one
Strength of schedule, yeah.
at the preseason.
Man, that's crazy.
And now I'll say
But
Bama.
it's proven itself.
Bama has played a few ranked matchups already, and they have
They
their
got
next
a-
4 games are all ranked teams.
Yes, sir.
And so they have another one, and then like I said, you got Georgia plays still got a pretty good little track ahead of them. They've got Ole Miss. They still got Texas. They still got Georgia Tech, and still a lot of football to play.
Yeah.
but
Well, we got Vanderbilt, we got A&M, then Bama, then Arkansas, then Western Kentucky, and then Oklahoma. So yeah, we got a tough schedule
Yep.
ahead of us. So if we win out, man, that's awesome. Well,
Absolutely.
we should be number 1. You know what I'm saying? But I doubt that's going to happen. So, but I'm curious to see how it goes. I'm curious to see. I'm actually here's another one for you. Who do you see being in the SEC championship game?
Let's see. Until somebody knocks them off. If Ole Miss wins today, they're still undefeated. They'll have the same win plus that Alabama has.
Yeah.
And then that's a tough one. I'm gonna say
I knew this was going to be tough.
I don't know. There's a possibility of maybe a A&M Ole Miss matchup. There's
Yeah.
a possibility of a A&M Bama matchup. There's a possibility of whoever still got A&M on the matchup taking them out of the top.
Yeah.
Because like I said, right now with the 1 loss, Bama has to lose 2 games in order for Georgia to make the SEC championship because they got the head-to-head.
And Ole Miss has to lose
Now,
too for LSU.
Tennessee's only got 1 loss, but Georgia holds the head-to-head over them.
Yep.
And so,
And what happens
Auburn.
if Tennessee beats Bama today?
mm,
You know what I'm saying? How that
Yeah.
'cause that's a triangle now.
Yeah.
Because this one beat this one, but this one beat this one. So
yeah.
it's I'd hate to be Sansky.
It's
right
way
now.
too early in the season.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't think if you get it right today, you just made a lucky guess.
Oh yeah.
But like I said, I'm gonna say probably based off of the rest of the schedule, I'm gonna go with a. Here's one. I mean, Vanderbilt's only got 1 loss.
Yeah.
But of
And
course,
it's
y'all
not-
play. They play LSU today. I don't know, man. It's tough. It's tough. There's still too much SEC
I
football to
know
play.
there's way too much left.
But right now, I'd say you got to give it to maybe A&M and Ole Miss because they're the two remaining. They're two of the and Bama's still undefeated
Yeah.
in the SEC play, but I think Bama still got a loss.
I
Obviously,
think they got a loss ahead
I
of them
think
too.
Ole Miss and A&M possibly do too. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm gonna say A&M and Ole Miss.
You know how crazy it would be though, because there's been 3, maybe 4 teams that have circled the SEC championship for a long time. It's been Bama, it's been Georgia, it's been LSU, and I think it was Auburn. I think that's the 4th one. Oh no, it's Gators. I think it was the Gators. No. Who's usually the 4th one? There's usually another one that circles it a lot, but I can't remember. You can say Texas, but Texas just did it last year.
And they lost in it
Yeah, they lost in it last year.
for their second time that season to the
So
same team.
you have a random one here and there. I'll say it that way, but it'll be the first time, in my opinion. I think this will be the year that none of those teams are in there.
Very, very high possibility.
I think it's gonna be 2 teams that haven't seen the SEC championship in a long time.
Probably won't be Texas.
I doubt it's going to be Texas. If you lose the Gators, I doubt very seriously it's going to be you. But let's go to we're gonna hit up our koala bear for a prediction, and we're gonna say the Ole Miss Georgia game. Who do you predict winning that game?
Of course you picked that game.
Well, yeah.
I feel like Ole Miss.
You feel like Ole Miss?
Yeah, I hate to say that, but I feel like Ole Miss.
What's your
goes on.
prediction score-wise?
Oh, 5, no clue.
Do you think they're going to win by like 10, 15? Do you think they're going to win by
I
3?
feel like it's gonna be a closer game.
So
I think
less
it's
than a
little-
touchdown?
Less than
Less than a touchdown?
I think
All
so.
right. You heard it here from Koala Bear.
All right. All
Now
right.
that I'm talking, we can do our question of the week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's get our question.
Here we go.
So, our question is, what coach is most likely to fully believe in Bigfoot?
Hey, okay.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna go for the coach that most likely to believe in Bigfoot. I believe I'm gonna go with my Appalachian friend Josh Heupel. I have spent some time in the Appalachian Mountains, and those guys believe in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think Josh Heupel can continue to be a coach of the Tennessee Volunteers and not
Without-
believe
Yeah.
in either a Gila monster,
Oh, my
Or-
gosh. Yeah.
the Bigfoot.
Infamous
So,
black. Yeah.
yeah.
Bigfoot.
So Josh Heupel, you are the Bigfoot believer.
I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to go with a coach that just got released this year. I fully believe Mike Grundy. Mullet man. I fully believe that he would definitely believe in it. I think he's got one as his best friend, to be honest with you.
If you
But
can wear your hair like that, you definitely believe in Bigfoot.
yeah, you definitely believe in Bigfoot. But I will say there's a couple others that I could see it. Yeah, I could definitely see a couple others. I fully believe Coach Joe believes in it in a heartbeat.
Coach Joe believes in Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Oh, he knows Swamp Thing's
Yeah.
real.
I'm not gonna million Watch Tigers.
Oh, before we did the podcast today, we were sitting here talking about Coach O, where he could land, because he wants to go back into coaching, and I'd love for him to come back to LSU, but I just don't see it happening anytime soon. And even if it's not head coach, I could see him coming back. But the other teams that could possibly happen to is like Florida. I doubt very seriously Penn State would even consider it. But
He'd be perfect at Florida.
he would be awesome in Florida. He would make me mad in Florida, because I fully believe he would be a winning coach there. But I fully believe we were talking earlier, and he was talking about, man, it'd be great if if he came to Georgia, if Coach O came over and was a UGA. And I said, man, he'd be in them interviews talking, and he'd be like, yeah, go Tigers. Oh, and Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't help it.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. But there's so much, man. I'm telling you, it's crazy, too, how the coaching carousel's already started. As hot as it has. I think Mike Grundy and the guy that was at UCLA, them being released as early as they did, I think it just sparked a lot of stuff. And now with Penn State doing what they're doing, Florida's about to do what they're about to do. There's a lot of flipping right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to see who lands where. And I will say this, one thing that we're going to try to kind of sneak in a little bit today, if we can, we're going to try to sneak in some after the games, like we might not be together, so we might have to FaceTime each other and
Yeah.
stuff. But we might try to do some of those after the game conversations real quick, just to mess with and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I think that's about all for our podcast today. So hopefully you guys have been able to comment on there. We'll look at it in a few minutes, but just letting you guys know we appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
We're trying to hit 100 likes and follows on our Facebook page. That way we can start posting to our Facebook page the live videos. So if you haven't yet, come follow us on there. We're on TikTok now. We're on YouTube now. We're getting everywhere. I mean, it's just part of it, but we're trying to build this thing up, and we're excited about it because we love talking about college football.
Oh, yeah.
We love talking about God. So
That's right.
speaking of which, if you ain't in church tomorrow, you come find one.
That's right.
We'll definitely take you in. I know a bunch of churches down here that'll take you in.
That's
So
right. Faith,
definitely.
family, and football.
Yes, sir. All day
So,
long.
Great weekend.
Well, this is Called in the Bleachers. We appreciate you guys so much.
Appreciate you.